Important to you, you can sleep the way you like. It's the only bed that lets you make each side of the bed firmer or softer, whichever you like. That's your sleep number setting, which mine is 75. So you can choose what's right for you and your partner whenever you want. 2 beds in one. And when you think about how much you sleep and how important it is, you're able to respond, you're able to react, you're well rested, you're ready to go to attack the day. Sleep right with the True Temperature bedding, designed to move heat and humidity away, cool at the touch of a button with the dual temp layer. It helps you sleep at a comfortable temperature as well that can be added to any bed, any side. So you stay sleeping comfortably all night long. Right now, save up to $800 on the select Sleep Number smart beds. Limited time, though, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you or sleepnumber.com/Patrick for details.
It's time to head inside the Sports Lab. From the CJC on the campus of the University of Florida, it's the next generation of Gator sports media personalities. With the latest stories, news, entertainment, and drip throughout the Sunshine State. Now, let's don a pair of goggles and fire up that Bunsen burner. It's time to head inside the Sports Lab. Here's Hannah Mack and Michael Tubbs.
Boy, am I in a good mood today, Michael Tubbs. I mean, come on! What a day to be alive. It's Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I know it was a nice little reset. But we've got news, and some people think that this is good news. Some people might think that this is a little bit overrated in a sense. And by what I'm talking about is Florida has been announced that they're at number 17 in the preseason coaches top 25 poll. Now, we've talked about this team for I don't even know how many weeks at this point, Michael Tubbs.
I don't know how many months.
I don't know how many months. That's true. It's very true. Is this too high? Is this too low? Is this just right? Where are we with Goldilocks right now?
I'm thinking too low.
Okay.
I'm thinking too
low.
I'm sticking by my playoff hopeful chances for this team. But I'm curious to see how people rank. Just general rankings, right? Are you ranking it based off the roster and the team itself? Are you ranking it off of what they're going to do with the schedule they're given? You know, what's the goal here? Is the goal to have your preseason ranking match the final postseason once the championship is all said and done? Like, I don't know what the goal is here, but no matter what way you look at it, it's too low because Florida's better than 17, and they're getting through the schedule.
Where did you want them to be after last year? You really thought they were going to put Florida in the top 15?
I think at minimum top 15.
You think?
Can you name 10 better rosters?
I agree with you from a roster standpoint. However, you can't give Florida. I thought 17 was pretty generous, to be completely honest with you. I thought that the Gators might be in the 20s, right? 20 to 25 range. That's where I thought they might be. And it doesn't matter, right? This team is going to have to work their way up. They're going to have to play some of the best teams in the country. They were put above Tennessee and Texas A&M, which I do agree, as like you said, from a roster standpoint, I think that's actually pretty accurate. But some other notable teams on Florida's schedule: Texas is at 1, Georgia's at 4, LSU's at 9, Miami's at 10, Ole Miss is at 15, Tennessee's at 18, A&M's at 21.
It's the preseason coaches poll. Where do you think Florida will rank in the legitimate college football rankings come week 1 against LIU? Will it be 17? Will it be higher? Will it be lower?
I think it's going to be a little bit lower than that. I like I said,
I think that's fair. I think it's fair to come in maybe 22, 23.
Yeah.
I think would be a good starting point. We saw what Florida basketball did with that ranking preseason ahead of time. But I think it's interesting, right? Because you look at these and you want to give credit to teams like Arizona State, who did make the playoff, had a great year last year. But Michigan with a incoming true freshman, I know that's kind of not fair for me to say it like that after last season with Florida, but in the Big Ten, and I don't know, there's still a team that's maybe not quite there. Ole Miss, that one's a gimme. Like, Florida's better than Ole Miss. We saw it last year. I think nothing changes going into this year. Miami at 10, I just don't see the same faith as them. And then, like you said, you got teams. I mean, Texas A&M tied at 21. That kind of surprises me because all I've seen is them ranked higher up until this point. I mean, that seems about right for them. Honestly, I actually do agree with that. But this is certainly an interesting Clemson at 6 too. That's a shocker.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how all of these teams look across, like what the coaches, what everybody thinks about, what's the reputation around these teams. And I don't know, I mean, for Florida, I think that's pretty accurate that there's a lot of hype around this squad. Obviously, they're very, very deep in a lot of different positions. However, they haven't proven anything yet. You know, that's the only hesitation that I have with putting them in the top 20 is they haven't done anything. They're gonna have to do a lot better this season if they want to earn a spot in the top 20.
I'm gonna kind of throw this at you. What team in this top 25 do you think is benefiting the most strictly off of head coaching?
Whew, that's tough. I mean, I think that this year, and this is kind of, again, like, I could really, really analyze this and go into a certain answer, but I think Georgia is a team this year that, obviously, they've got Kirby Smart on their team, and you don't know, I think that they're kind of a toss-up. Do they deserve a top 10 spot? Sure. Did they finish the season on not the best note, but were they one of the best in college football? Yes, they have been for the past few years. However, I think that this is a team that I don't know if they're going to be in the top 5 at the end of this football season, to be honest with you. So I think that they're definitely going to benefit from having a coach with the name Kirby Smart.
Yeah, fair enough.
What about you?
I'm not fully bought into Alabama being this
that's
top
the
10
other
team.
yeah.
I'm kind of there's a part of me that I know they're a double-digit favor over Florida State. We're going to preview the Florida State game later on in the show. Florida State's nothing special. They're not going to come in and compete for a playoff spot, but I don't know if they're double-digit favorites over a team like that. I mean, they've got a lot of unknowns outside of Williams, their receiver. Outside of that, it's like, yeah, it's Alabama talent, but Nick Saban's not here anymore, you know? So not that they're bad, but, 8 might be a little high, but Florida, 17, how much does DJ Lagway play factor into that? What are we looking at with him? We saw him in practice. He is back to practicing. He was in the swamp. Back to the discussion. We've tried having it before. Had a mini conversation a few shows ago about his running ability, how much he should be running compared to throwing. We went to do it, and then that was when the boot news came out, so it kind of got diverted a little bit. Where are we at now with this?
Yeah, and this is such an interesting conversation because you can look at it from so many different angles. And to be honest with you, I see both sides. You look at Florida football, they are at their best. DJ Lagway is at his best. He's one of the most talented quarterbacks in the country, top 5 in the country if he is able to run throughout the entire game. If he's healthy enough to do it, and then 2, if the coaching staff allows him to do it. But the question is does he need to? I mean, he's one of the best passers in not just the SEC, but in college football. So do you need him to run in a lot of these games if you can just beat him in the air, which we brought up the LSU game, right? LSU is going to be an absolute battle. Florida's going to need everything to go right for them to win this game in Death Valley. However, last year, DJ Lagway didn't have a single rushing attempt against LSU. He beat them in the air. Part of that was due to the injuries that he was dealing with at the time. He wasn't the most mobile that we've seen him throughout his career. This year, not in a completely similar situation, but if there are injuries that reoccur throughout the year, what does his game look like? Is he going to run in these matchups against LSU, Ole Miss, even Miami? How much does that add to Florida's experience and just overall talent if he's able to run? Or realistically, can the Gators beat all of these teams with him just airing the ball out throughout the whole game?
Yeah, I don't want to play scared football.
Right.
That's not what I want to do, but
scared money don't make money, I've heard.
But he's so important to this team that even if he's out for a week or two with the schedule that we've just harped on all offseason, you're not just going to be given a win. And I don't trust Aiden Warner or Bailey to come in and win these tough matchups. So it's like I don't want to play scared football, but Lagway is good enough to throw in the air without taking a single rushing attempt and still winning that football in a pretty good manner. I mean, listen, Ole Miss, that was a close game. LSU wasn't exactly this easy one, but we got it done. So you look at it, the rushing game, I think will be better this year, even without Montrell. I think the running back room is going to be great. We already know the weapons that he has around him. We know the offensive line should be able to protect him. I want to protect him not only for that, but what if you can get through Texas? What if you get through Miami and LSU and that chunk of the schedule without really having to run them? What happens if this team makes a playoff and all of a sudden here comes DJ with a dozen rushing attempts for 70 yards? I mean, that's a whole new level of this game.
Yeah, but I'm going to pose you this. I mean, I think a decision needs to be made before the season starts, before the first couple of games happen. I think that he needs to sit down with the coaching staff and they all need to decide, okay, this is what your limitations look like from a running standpoint. Either they say, go, do what you need to do, because whenever you take him and you either choose to not let him run, and that is just something that is known across the board. Yes, in dire situations, no, don't take the sack, but use common sense, sure. Yeah. But overall, it's not like they're going to be designing run plays for him. They need to make that decision beforehand. Now, I want him to improve as a quarterback this year from an IQ standpoint. Not that he has a bad football IQ by any means, but I think that there's certainly growth there. Now, I think if they let him run, that is an area that he can figure out. He can play to his strengths. He can learn. He can read defenses. I think that's something that he could grow in. But he needs to know beforehand, am I completely clear to go? Am I completely clear to run? And that's not just a coaching staff decision. That's a him decision as well. How is he feeling? How's his health look whenever he enters some of these big-time matchups where you know there are going to be some defensive guys that are looking to take your head off, so that's just something that he needs to be aware of. However, Michael, I mean, you say, okay, you get to the end of the season, let's say Florida does make a playoff and he hasn't run a lot. Do you want to enter the college football playoff without him running? It's the end of the year at that point. I mean, we're talking the biggest games of the year. We're talking competing for a national championship. You obviously want him to do whatever he can possibly do to help Florida win these games. But then if he doesn't have any of that experience throughout the entire season, what difference does that make?
Yeah, you said something there that really caught my attention, and it's a factor of the game I didn't really think about up until this point, and it's when you run as a quarterback, it gives you an out from reading the defense and making throws, right? It gives you that easy just escape plan. But if you're forced in the pocket to make those throws, really learn the defense, like you said, from an IQ standpoint, we saw him say that at SEC Media Days, is that's something he does want to get better at. Mm-hmm. By limiting it, if you just let him go wherever, the guy's the work ethic. He wants to do that. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that if you give him that out of just, go do whatever you want, it makes it easier to be scared of making certain throws. And that's not the play style that we got from him, but it's something that could potentially develop, and you just don't want those bad habits to develop. But up next, we are going to take a look at where does DJ Lagway rank amongst the best passers in college football. Is he the best pocket passer? Let us know. We are live on YouTube, ESPN Gainesville, home of the Gators. Subscribe. It's free. Leave a comment. Let us know who you think are the best passers in college football. Stay tuned to find out here on ESPN WRUF.
From the College of Journalism and Communications, ESPN 98.1 FM and 850 AM WRUF.
If you played pickleball in regular sneakers, you know you can pay the price. They don't cut it. And Todd found this out the hard way. We have this great sponsor, Tyrell. They make the best pickleball shoes. So one day Todd is playing pickleball, and he forgot his Tyrell pickleball shoes. Well, you know what happened? He got hurt. He was playing in some fancy, different shoes that aren't meant for pickleball, and he learned a lesson. Tyrell has everything you need to keep your feet cool. They're tough, they're lightweight, they're so solid on your feet, and you're going to wear and tear on the court, and they're ready to go. Every detail is built to help you play better. Tyrell pickleball shoes. If you want to play longer, feel better, and stop sliding around in those old sneakers, go to TyrellPickleball.com. You can look like a pro. You can play like a pro. It's Tyrell pickleball shoes. You spell it Tyrol. Tyrell pickleball shoes, the best pickleball shoes. Purpose-built for pickleball. You ever go car shopping and just walk back to your old car and say, you know what? You're not so bad. Maybe a new paint job, maybe fix up those dents and dings. New car prices are going crazy now. Interest rates, prices, everything is up. Mako can make your current ride look like new. Paint touch-ups, dent repairs, fresh bumper. It's a little like a car makeover is what it is. At Mako, they make it easy. Come in for a free estimate, and their expert technicians will handle the rest. Quick turnaround, by the way. Real value. That's what Mako does. And we're keeping our cars longer. So make your current ride feel new again. Before you shell out for something new, make your old look new. With Mako's national reach and community focus, you're not just getting top-notch service. You're actually getting a partner you can trust. Go to Mako.com today. You'll find a shop near you and book an appointment. That's Mako, MAACO.com. And remember, better get Mako. I like to travel, but then I do miss certain things when I leave home, like my bed, my Sleep Number bed. Why a Sleep Number smart bed so important to you? You can sleep the way you like. It's the only bed that lets you make each side of the bed firmer or softer, whichever you like. That's your Sleep Number setting, which mine is 75. So you can choose what's right for you and your partner whenever you want. 2 beds in one. And when you think about how much you sleep and how important it is, you're able to respond, you're able to react, you're well rested, you're ready to go to attack the day. Sleep right with the True Temperature bedding, designed to move heat and humidity away, cool at the touch of a button with the dual temp layer. It helps you sleep at a comfortable temperature as well that can be added to any bed, any size. So you stay sleeping comfortably all night long. Right now, save up to $800 on the select Sleep Number smart beds. Limited time, though, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you or sleepnumber.com/Patrick for details.
Follow ESPN Gainesville on Instagram, Facebook, and X. Stay up to date with the latest information, interviews, stories, events, and contests. We are ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM WRUF. More of the Sports Lab right here on ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM WRUF, and anywhere in the world on the WRUF radio app. Here's Hannah Mack and Michael Tubbs.
It's Monday. We're talking college football because we've got less than a month until week 1 with some of the best matchups. Texas, Ohio State, LSU, Clemson. Stay tuned for that because we are going to talk about where we want to be week 1 a little bit later in this show. But right now, we are talking about the best passers in college football. DJ Lagway, we just had a whole conversation about how he has the ability to be such a threat from not just a passing standpoint, but from a running standpoint too, if his health holds up, if that's something that Florida harps on within their offense. But he's also got one of the prettiest balls in college football. I mean, this guy can... He's got one of the best passes. Can throw it down the field. We saw it a handful of times last year, and that's how he won a lot of games for the Gators. The last 4 games that they won, even the bowl game, there was a little bit more running in that game because it was Tulane that didn't have to pass as much. But some of the best competition that he's going to face in the SEC, he's got the arm to do it. He's one of the strongest guys in college football.
He's got the arm, but I'll tell you what, he does not have the form. Because some of those passes are coming off his front foot. You know, he's jumping sideways, kind of like Walter Clayton Jr. on a 3, and you're like, oh, God,
step.
please don't throw that. Then he throws it, and it hits him right in the hands, and you're like, that might have been the best pass I've ever seen. But, you know, he's interesting, right? Some of the other names across all of college football, because that's what he is, right? You know, it's not just an SEC. This is a college football. He is one of the best. Arch Manning is someone we're going to have to see how he pans out. Does he live up to the hype? But I think he's certainly in the conversation. Garrett Nussmeier might be the right answer. The guy can make every throw you can. It just, his biggest mistakes come at the end of the game. He has bad timing on his picks. John Mateer is someone who might have the most praise this offseason coming into the year at Oklahoma, coming from Washington State. This guy is going to Oklahoma hopefully wants him to be a game changer, and he's supposed to be that. And then some underrated names, just throw out there. Carson Beck, I know Nobody likes him here. The guy's talented.
Yeah.
And we'll see if he can get back to that. Cade Klubnik at Clemson, Austin Simmons, Lane Kiffin's new quarterback at Ole Miss. He's got a high potential to be a really good thrower of the football. Dylan Raiola, Bryce Underwood, and Jackson Arnold are some other names. Hannah, who is DJ's biggest competition, and is it DJ's biggest competition or the flip side of like they lead the way and he's got to take that spot?
I mean, I think on paper and even just the prettiest passer, it's got to be Garrett, right? He's not the biggest guy. He's not as big as DJ, doesn't weigh as much, but he has the arm, and we've seen it time and time again. And that's what really sets him apart from a lot of other quarterbacks. I think with him and Cade, they're obviously the front runners for the Heisman, Jeremiah Smith as well. But from a quarterback standpoint, both of them are going to be competing for that spot. Depending on how their respective teams do, that could be a separator. But the other separator is how many yards they throw, how much they pass the ball. And LSU, one of their biggest strengths, and this dates back to that 2019 team, is how they're able to, the quarterback wide receiver connection, how they're able to hit guys. And Garrett, he's got the passing IQ. I think he's the best passer, really, in college football heading into this season. And like you said, I mean, he can throw the deep ball. The only thing is going to be decision-making, right? Can he make the best decisions for this team to go out and win games? Whenever it's crunch time, is he going to make the right calls, and is he going to throw the ball in the right place? It's not a matter of can he get it there. That's obvious. That's a yes. But we'll just have to wait and see. You mentioned John Mateer. He's such a question mark to me, as just not as a quarterback. He's got all the skills that you need. But from competing in the SEC. I mean, there's a lot of guys that think that you can compete in the SEC. You transfer in, doesn't work out, and then we see a lot of guys leave as well. So that's really up in the air. But a guy that I wanted to mention was Jackson Arnold. So he is with Hugh Freeze at Auburn. Very, very highly rated recruit. Didn't quite work out at Oklahoma. But Auburn has a really talented wide receiver room, and how much does the wide receiver room play a part in how good all of these quarterbacks are at throwing the football? Because if you've got receivers that can run the field, your life's gonna be a lot easier, and then you're gonna look a lot better. So I think that's one of the guys that you can definitely look at throughout college football. We'll see. I don't know if he's got one of the prettiest passes, but he could be one of the best quarterbacks combined with his wide receivers this upcoming season.
Yeah, I think Garrett kind of stands out to me because he can make any throw you need him to. DJ, on the flip side of that, does struggle in the short game. Hopefully that improves this year because this team's success kind of relies on that. But ball for ball, play for play, it's Garrett. DJ, though, I think on a highlight reel, it has the best ones. Arch Manning really sticks out. And a guy, too, Bryce Underwood, is coming in as a heavy, heavy touted recruit, flipped from LSU, took the money that Dave Portnoy collected for Michigan. He's going to get the start. I'm curious to see what he is. If he has, that top-notch DJ Lagway, Trevor Lawrence kind of recruiting presence as a freshman, especially in Michigan's system. They're not fancy up there. They still run a hardball, hard-nosed, ground and pound defensive scheming. I'm wondering if they're going to open it up. And I'll tell you what, Michigan starts opening up the playbook. That's a scary team that you got to consider. And I know we talk SEC all the time, but listen, things go right this year. You're looking at playoffs. You start looking at playoffs, you better worry about the Big Ten.
Yeah, and it's funny. Whenever you were talking about Michigan, I just was thinking about Davis Warren, who we were talking about, quarterbacks who could throw the best ball. Michigan, you mentioned how they don't emphasize necessarily passing as much. Yeah, they had J.J. McCarthy, but Davis Warren, they were out there winning games. He would throw under 100 yards passing, easy, not even close to that mark, and they would still end up pulling off wins just because they were able to hold teams to not a lot of points. But a guy who we haven't mentioned who's on this list for sure, again, has a really solid wide receiver room, happens to be on the number 1 team in the country, Arch Manning. He's got the genes. There's no joke there. How pretty.
He's got half of them. I don't know. Eli is a little rough. Peyton's got it, but Eli,
yeah, that's fair. We had that whole Eli Manning debate too. But yeah, Arch, we have to include him in this conversation, right? Because he does have an arm, and he can make very, very pretty throws look pretty effortless. And that's the common factor with all of these guys that we're talking about is even if Lagway is facing a receiver and he sidearms it, like he can still make it look really, really easy and get the throw across. So that's just another guy that we had to throw in that conversation. But all of these are going to be the best quarterbacks that we're going to talk about. Likely we're going to have another conversation about Heisman potential later on in the season, and I have a feeling that 3 or maybe 4 of these guys are going to be in that conversation.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent around this league. A lot of guys in the mix. Drew Allen's another one. I don't think his name is in there, but he's certainly going to be a top quarterback in this league coming up. You know, Kyle Trask is a guy that might have the title at Florida at least. Maybe there's a handful of guys, but Kyle Trask might have right now the best ball in Florida history. And he might see some action this weekend. Find out in our sports update. Also, a Gator baseball player made his debut in a NASCAR speedway track. Find out coming up after the break here on the Sports Lab, 98.1 FM, 850 AM.
Anchored in the soul of Gator Nation and coming to you live from the second story of the CJC on the campus of the University of Florida. You are listening to ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM, WRUF.
Hi, this is Dr. Art Mowry of Exceptional Dentistry. Listen to what our clients have to say about their experience at Exceptional Dentistry.
Well, we discussed dentures and implants, and I could not afford the implants, but I was still treated like an implant person that was going to put out buku bucks, even though I didn't have it. And I thought, well, if I don't go with implants, they're going to put me on the back burner, sort of, and shun me away, but they didn't. They did not. I have 4 dentures, top and bottom.
Top and bottom dentures?
Right. IV sedation they did, and I don't remember a thing. It was wonderful. Yeah, go there because they care.
This is Dr. Kim Mowry, and if you think you have dental problems that are too big to overcome, we're here for you. Please visit us at exceptionaldentistry.com. That's exceptionaldentistry.com.
It's Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's 4-year anniversary, and you're invited to the celebration party on Monday, August 11th. It's time to celebrate and give back to a cause that matters a great deal to our community, the Ronald McDonald House. Join us Monday, August 11th for a night of limitless food, exceptionally fun times, and an anniversary party worthy of the playbooks. But hurry, this event will sell out. Tell them, Coach.
It's going to be a great night. Get your tickets at spurriers.com.
If you played pickleball in regular sneakers, you know you can pay the price. They don't cut it. And Todd found this out the hard way. We have this great sponsor, Tyrell. They make the best pickleball shoes. So one day Todd is playing pickleball, and he forgot his Tyrell pickleball shoes. Well, you know what happened? He got hurt. He was playing in some fancy, different shoes that aren't meant for pickleball, and he learned a lesson. Tyrell has everything you need to keep your feet cool. They're tough, they're lightweight, they're so solid on your feet, and you're going to wear and tear on the court, and they're ready to go. Every detail is built to help you play better. Tyrell pickleball shoes. If you want to play longer, feel better, and stop sliding around in those old sneakers, go to TyrellPickleball.com. You can look like a pro. You can play like a pro. It's Tyrell pickleball shoes. You spell it Tyrol. Tyrell pickleball shoes, the best pickleball shoes, purpose-built for pickleball.
When Billy Napier talks Gator football, you'll hear it right here.
We absolutely have aspirations to be a playoff team. That's the intention of coming here, is to win championships. Okay? It's not about yesterday or tomorrow. It's about today. Right? A good today leads to a good week, leads to a good month, leads to a good season.
Billy Napier joins us during the Gator football season to talk about his team, and you'll hear him every week here on WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, your home of the Gators.
From the UF Weather Center, here is your WRUF weather update.
A few showers and thunderstorms are possible this afternoon. Otherwise, it's hot and humid. Highs will be near 93 degrees. Heat index values will be over 100. Tonight, some evening showers and thunderstorms, then we're mostly cloudy, lows near 75. And Tuesday, partly to mostly cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms, highs near 94. From the WUFD Weather Center, I'm meteorologist William Maxim.
Coming up at 4, it's the Tailgate with Jeff Cardozo and Pat Dooley. Right here on ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM, WRUF. And on your phone with the WRUF radio app. The Sports Lab continues right here on ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM, WRUF. And anywhere in the world on the WRUF radio app. Here's Hannah Mack and Michael Tubbs.
Good vibes on a Monday. Gotta love it. But we've got some great news. Hurston Waldrop was reportedly supposed to make his season debut with the Braves last week, if you remember from our other sports update. But he actually didn't see any action until yesterday against the Reds in the first Speedway Classic, which was played at the Bristol Motor Speedway in Tennessee. He pitched 5 2/3 innings, gave up 3 hits, only 1 run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and he got a win, which was a lot better than his Major League Baseball debut last year. Let's talk about non-traditional places to have a game. We've seen it a handful of times over the past few years, but Michael, what is one of your favorite places to see play?
I think the number one thing that sticks out to me that I would love to see the Gators do is the college basketball aircraft carrier games. How do you beat that?
You can't. It's so much fun.
Unless you're playing like, I don't know, a volleyball game where you got like tanks lined up or something that you're doing it on top of. Like, it's an aircraft carrier. Or I'll give you some. I'll give you this. There are some college environments like baseball stadiums. I think Appalachia State's definitely one where just the natural beauty that they have. Colorado has the mountains in the background, but those are at normal stadiums.
Yeah.
Not an aircraft carrier.
It's true.
Some other ones. I also know another big one that would be next to that is the MLB Field of Dreams games that they've had before in the Corn Maze. I mean, that's just iconic.
Totally. I love all of those answers. There's no wrong answer with non-traditional places to play sports games, but I'm gonna go with the playing in football stadiums, like other sports that aren't football, to play in football stadiums. Iowa, their women's basketball team, they did it a couple years ago with Caitlin Clark, and they played in Kinnick. And then Nebraska volleyball, they did the same thing in their stadium. And I think it's awesome because you can, especially look at the O'Connell Center, right? Who doesn't want to see the men's basketball team take on somebody, a pretty big opponent? Can you imagine how much fun that would be in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium?
Would it be better for like a top-notch? Okay, let's say like Florida basketball hosts Duke in the Swamp, sold out.
Yeah.
Is that better than any Florida football game you could put together?
Oh, I don't know, Michael. No, I can't.
No?
I don't know if I can get on board with that. But would you rather, like you said, Florida Duke, right? They're playing, I don't know, because I feel like the big games, Florida Duke, and then we're talking about UConn and MSG, right? Something about those types of atmospheres are really, really fun.
Fair enough.
But you still want to see them play in the Swamp. I mean, come on. 90,000 strong, rooting on the national champions. That would be awesome.
Listen, you're not prepared for that in basketball. Like, that's literally nothing. You can't prepare for that in basketball because it doesn't exist on a day-to-day basis.
Only issue is you can't really see what's going on. If you're at the top of the stadium, it's going to be probably a little bit harder to see because they can't. It's not the same dimensions, right? So they have to put the basketball court at if you were right there
you're surrounded
on the side
by everything.
that the court is, then okay. We've talked about this for way too long, but take notes, Florida basketball. It should happen. All right. Another Gator great, Pete Alonso, he hit his 250th career home run on Saturday.
23rd pitch of the inning for Tang. And Pete drives one to deep left center. Forget that. Pete Alonso, 250. 3-run bomb, 3-0 New York.
Oh, gotta love it. Pete, like I said, 250th career home run. He is too shy of tying the Mets team record only behind Darryl Strawberry. What a fun name, Darryl Strawberry. I want the last name Strawberry. He is the 5th player in Major League Baseball history to reach 250 home runs within 7 seasons. How far, you look at the all-time home run list, right? Barry Bonds is up there with over 700. How far can Pete work his way up in this list? Because he's nowhere near the top right now. However, he's only 7 seasons in, and realistically, if he plays 20 seasons, he's on pace, technically. But is that realistic in any way, shape, or form? How high do you see him making it on that home run list?
Yeah, he's technically on pace. I'll throw out, he's at 250 through 7 years. 560 is the number I'll throw out there. He'll double what he has now. I remember
that puts him pretty high. That puts him about that. It's about top 20, top 15, top 20 all time.
All right, well maybe we'll slow it down a bit.
Michael said, "Wait, I don't know, maybe not."
That might be a bit much. I remember I went to see. I saw because he's the handful. He's 3 away from taking the Mets team home run record. So I thought, oh, maybe he's got a shot at taking the all-time. So I'm looking, all right, oh, Barry has over 750. Yeah, you're not getting that one. But if he does, then you're in the GOAT debate.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? And right now he's probably the best player that the Mets have ever seen, at least long term. So if he keeps it up, he's gonna be.
Boo.
Oh,
Go
here
Yankees.
comes the Yankees fan. Hey, what happened? The Marlins?
I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about that? Okay.
No, you want to get in the show.
We should have thrown that in the update. The Marlins are hot right now, okay? Yeah. Jess is sad. It's fine. You've had plenty of success with the Yankees historically, so save some for the rest of us.
Aaron Judge is my future husband for sure.
Jess. Jeez. All right. Thank you. Baker Mayfield, let's switch it over to Bucs football. We're going to keep it in Florida. Baker Mayfield, he did not practice last Friday due to a contusion on his throwing hand. This is not a long-term issue, and he's day-to-day. It's nothing to freak out over, to be worried about. Although you don't want to see this happen, the door is now open a little bit for backup quarterback Kyle Trask to take reps with the first team. He's not going to be the starter this year. That's not what I'm saying. Everybody calm down. But it's great to see. He's been the backup since they drafted him in the 2nd round. Got to watch Tom Brady. Whenever Baker first got there, there was an argument of some fans wanted Trask to compete for that starting spot. He didn't get it. Obviously, makes sense. Baker is top 5 quarterback in the league, top 10. Anyway, but how good is this for Kyle Trask to get some sort of a starting feeling to take reps with the first team? And how long is he going to be the Bucs backup before he has a decision to make? Okay, can I compete as a starter somewhere else?
I was just going to say, these preseason games, that's his opportunity to go become a starter at a rough team who needs it. Unfortunately, he would have to really put on a show, which I just don't know if he's got it in the tank anymore, but got to make the most of it because, you compete well. Something happens to Baker, prove that, hey, you can be a legitimate backup, go win some games. I know Bucs or Gator fans were really hoping that when he was drafted, he would kind of be the next guy after Tom. And unfortunately, just hasn't really panned out that way.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you can't really go and be a starter somewhere else because he doesn't have any starting experience. Maybe a few games here and there due to injury, but nothing consistent. So hopefully it works out for Trask at some point because I do think that he's a talented guy, and I could see him helping a team in the league. I don't exactly know when or where that would happen. Gator Sports, they're back. Florida soccer, some exhibition soccer games. They beat Florida Atlantic 1-0 in the exhibition game yesterday. Samantha Bohan, she contributes a lot of this team's success to their preseason prep.
But we've just looked back on this week and we've said how unbelievably productive we have been. This is by far the best first week of preseason we've had in our now 4 seasons at Florida, so that's really exciting.
Heck yeah, it's exciting. Maybe Florida soccer's turning a quarter. What do you think?
See if they're on the up and up. Listen, they're not competing for a title anytime soon, but 4 years in, see if you can make that turn, add it to the list of teams that Florida has success in. I mean, right now it's just they're just not quite there, and they're not really close, to be honest with you. But little steps, baby steps, get there, work on it.
True that. I mean, we'll see. I think that as soon as they can start winning a lot of games within the conference, they don't get dominated every year, but there's a lot of ties, there's a handful of losses. So whenever they kind of make that step to becoming pretty competitive in the college soccer world, and Florida soccer has a good history of success. I mean, Becky Burleigh, she was here forever. Abby Wambach. I mean, there's a lot of talented players that have come from this program. It's just they're going to have to make a couple changes to really flip things around and make a difference in the next couple of years.
Yeah, we'll see the growth of it because the SEC is a talented soccer conference. So you got the conference games. Florida State's another team I know is normally pretty good. So you're given that rough competition. It's not fun when you're not good, but it allows you to get that competition for the up and up and not go to a smaller conference where you're playing kind of cupcakes of like, oh, you think you're good and then you go play the good competition. It's like, oh, it didn't work out. No, like when Florida soccer becomes a legit contender, we'll know it. We'll see it.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, 8 other Gators are going to head to Tokyo to represent the United States at the World Championships from September 13th to the 21st. There's a handful of athletes coming from Florida. Anna Hall, heptathlon, Claire Bryant, long jump, Grace Stark, 100-meter hurdle, Ja'Cory Patterson, 400-meter event, Grant Holloway, 100-meter hurdle, Will Clay, triple jump, Jasmine Moore, triple jump, and then Robert Gregory rounding everybody off with the 200-meter event. So a lot of different Gators that are going to be successful in track and field. We're going to talk about the track team a little bit later on in this show. And finally, for our update, Katie Ledecky. She beat Summer McIntosh in the 800-meter freestyle at the World Aquatics Championships. McIntosh, she had a slight lead with 100 meters left before Ledecky was able to pull away in the final 50 meters.
And Katie Ledecky racing her way into history with another 800 free title, a 7-time champion of this event, the first ever in World Championship history.
Tell him. Now, what a call. It's her 7th world title in this event. She is hands down the greatest of all time in women's swimming. I don't think there's really much of an argument there, especially in U.S. women's swimming. There have been a few that are able to compete with her, but long distance wise, I mean, it's insane the amount of success that she has had still to this day. She's not even really in her prime anymore, I would say, but she's still competing at such a high level. Where does she stack up against the GOATs of other women's sports? So, like, where does she stack up against the Serena Williams, the Mia Hamms, even Simone Biles? Where is she on that sort of list?
She's climbing the ranks, right? I mean, Serena Williams and Simone Biles specifically put their respective women's sports on the map, realistically. So, but I think Katie Ledecky's done that with women's swimming. I mean, is it crazy to even say the name Michael Phelps next to her name? Like, not even to just have even address that conversation. I mean, does that even exist?
I'm going to answer this question, okay. Overall, no, I don't think she is quite there. Michael Phelps, I mean, it's insane. She still needs to win a few more medals.
She has all 25 times for I believe it's the 1,500 meter freestyle. She has all top 25 times for
let me finish. Long distance swimming, yes. Easily in the same conversation. She is the Michael Phelps of women's long distance swimming. She is the Tom Brady, the Serena Williams, whatever Michael Jordan's, whatever the greatest athlete of all time is, in everybody's respective opinions, she is that for long distance swimming. Yeah, that's just the answer right there. All right, next, we're gonna look at some underrated players across a handful of Florida teams. Stay tuned right here on the Sports Lab, ESPN WRUF.
From the heart of campus and the College of Journalism and Communications on Stadium Road, ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM, WRUF.
Quality Green Specialist has the plants, products, and friendly expert advice to keep your garden healthy and bountiful. Quality Green has thousands of plants, trees, flowers, herbs, vegetables, and more. Plus, high-quality organic-based fertilizers, products, even comprehensive soil testing. Visit D-Land's beautiful nursery and fine fertilizer store. Conveniently open 9 to 4 daily. Located at 335 West Michigan Avenue. QualityGreenSpecialist.com. Top quality plants, sustainable gardening products, friendly expert advice.
Good news. Gator football's back.
The first game of the season. Let the guys do their work. Let them prove themselves.
You, the listeners, spoke. We listened.
This is enough. You think anybody stayed after halftime? I don't think so.
Sports Scene returns Monday, August 18th, weekdays, noon to 2.
First time caller, long time listener.
It's always right here on WRUF, 98.1 FM, 850 AM.
The same old. There's nothing different.
We are the home of the Gators.
The latest on TJ Lagway and the Gators as training camp opens.
There is a negative to the continuous small injuries, and that is they are going to build up in some degree. Whether it pans out into a worst-case scenario, we'll have to wait to see, but it will build up in some type of way.
WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, 1037 HD2, and on the WRUF mobile app.
Inside the Huddle is coming back with the head ball coach Steve Spurrier and the Gator QB Shane Matthews.
Sometimes you win when the other team doesn't have their best stuff, and sometimes you lose when you don't have your best stuff. Certainly, we've had enough of those.
All Gator football season long.
You know, these teams are having 500 yards of offense. They're scoring 16 and 17 points. So, God smile on the Gators, aren't the coach, a little bit.
Join us Tuesdays at noon for Inside the Huddle. WRUF is powered by ESPN.
You ever go car shopping and just walk back to your old car and say, you know what? You're not so bad. Maybe a new paint job, maybe fix up those dents and dings. New car prices are going crazy now. Interest rates, prices, everything is up. Mako can make your current ride look like new. Paint touch-ups, dent repairs, fresh bumper. It's a little like a car makeover is what it is. At Mako, they make it easy. Come in for a free estimate, and their expert technicians will handle the rest. Quick turnaround, by the way. Real value. That's what Mako does. And we're keeping our cars longer. So make your current ride feel new again. Before you shell out for something new, make your old look new. With Mako's national reach and community focus, you're not just getting top-notch service. You're actually getting a partner you can trust. Go to Mako.com today. You'll find a shop near you and book an appointment. That's Mako, MAACO.com. And remember, better get Mako.
We are your home for the Rays, the Lightning, and the Bucks. We are proud to bring Tampa to Gainesville. ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM, WRUF. More of the Sports Lab right here on ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM, WRUF, and anywhere in the world on the WRUF radio app.
A lot of underrated players heading into this year. A lot of successful teams, which means plenty to look at. By the way, make sure to go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. It is free. Leave us comments. We'll look at them throughout the show, address them. ESPN Gainesville, the home of the Gators. We will continue streaming on there every show we have in the future.
Let's go.
But starting off, of course, the sport of all sports, football. For this one, I'm going to go offense and defense. My offensive underrated player is Aiden Mizell.
Yeah.
I think is going to be the speed guy. He's kind of talked about when you're listening through the receivers, like as a starter, but he's not thought of like, yeah, he's the starter. It's like, yeah, he could start. I mean, if he's able to be the speed guy, I don't see why he couldn't be one of the top speedsters in college football.
I mean, he could realistically have over 100 yards a game if he's able to run.
Whoa. I'm not going that far.
Depends on how many reps he gets.
100 yards a game, that means he's the number one receiver for the Florida Gators.
Not 100, but consistently able to put up that much, I guess. 50 to 100 maybe. But again, there's like 6 guys that are going to be competing for a lot of reps. So realistically, yeah, you're right. Sorry. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. I agree with you, though, that I think he is significantly underrated. But two other receivers, I'm going to stay on that train. And Tank Hawkins and Vernell Brown III, these two guys, also pretty speedy, similar skill sets to Aiden Mizell. But I think that these two are going to be really underrated whenever it comes to the punt and kick returns that we had a whole conversation about. And I think that they could really, really make a name for themselves there. I don't see them getting a whole lot of reps in the receiver slot position, but I think it's very possible, and I think that they could be a really underrated part of that wide receiver room if they're able to serve in a lot of different other roles.
I like that. I think Vernell Brown has the ability to be the special teams guy, and that would definitely make things interesting and fun on punt and kick returns. Defensively, I'm going LJ McCray, a guy that, listen, you don't normally always see freshmen get reps. He was a fringe 5-star guy coming in, D-end. He could be a game wrecker. And if he is next to Caleb Banks, Tyreek Sapp, he's on that other side. That adds depth, it adds power, it adds speed, it adds aggression to the defense. And he's a guy that's not really talked about a whole lot because we didn't really see him last year.
Yeah.
But I think he could easily make a name for himself in those first few weeks.
No, it's great. You can't go wrong with him, I don't think. But my defense, I'm going to stick with another pair. They happen to be from the same position group as well. Aaron Gates and Cormani McLean. These two guys, not sure if they're going to be serving in a starting role. However, having them come off the bench, I think that they're going to get playing time this year, hands down. But they put on a lot of weight, they put on a lot of strength, and I think that they're really versatile and guys that are just athletes that you can throw out there in really any different position in the secondary. I'm not sure exactly where Napier's going to want them to go, especially if they're serving as backups. But just adds to that secondary and gives you a little bit more depth.
Yeah, those are both guys that are going to be game changers. I'm curious where Cormani McLean gets played, whether it's this year, whether it's next year.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to fit in at some point, and I'm curious to see if he's the guy that just kind of blows things up and can be a top corner, like we hope he is. But moving on to men's basketball, we talked about this guy a few shows ago. As far as underrated, right, we know Ruben Chinyelu is going to be a defensive staple. We know what Gator fans have known what Thomas Houck is. It was the rest of the nation that finally caught up in the postseason. Alex Condon, we know his ability, the two transfers, Boogie and Xavier. These are all very talented guys. But the underrated, under the radar, has to be A.J. Brown coming off the bench, most likely going to be the sixth man and game changer for this team.
Definitely. And the biggest role that we could see him trying to fill is a shooting role, right? No, is he the best shooter in the country? No. But is he a guy that can come off the bench and could totally be a spot-up shooter for this team? Yes, definitely, especially whenever you're working with Boogie and Lee, as you mentioned, that they're going to be more in a point guard, kind of shooting guard, but both of them have the ability to lead on the offense. So I'm really excited to see how he falls in. And, I mean, he could be one of the contenders for a six-man of the year type of guy. I mean, this is someone that, no, he's not the name that everybody talks about because Florida was able to pick up a handful of transfers in the portal. They're also returning a lot of talent that everybody has heard of, especially after the run that they made last year. But this is a guy who's extremely talented, and I think he could be such a perfect role player for Todd Golden in this offense and defense as well. So super excited, heavily underrated. He might be the most underrated player that we have on this list.
There's a good chance of that one.
Yeah, definitely. All right, flipping over, though, to women's basketball side, I'm going to pick a player, Layla Reynolds. If you follow Florida women's basketball, you probably do know who she is. Not as big of a star as Liv McGill, but this is a player who has, for multiple years now, has been able to serve in a starting role. And this is a player that she's super dynamic. And Florida is nowhere near as good as they can be without her on the floor. If her confidence goes up this season. I know she's probably been working throughout the offseason, but she is such a key piece because Liv can't do it all. Miara O'Neal, she's going to come off the bench, she came off the bench last year, probably going to play as a starter this year. We'll have to wait and see whenever the season comes around. But Layla Reynolds, I mean, remember the name because she could be really, really good for this team over the next couple years. All right. Hit me, gymnastics.
I'm going Sky Blakely. Sloan, if her name sounds familiar, it's because it's Sloan Blakely's sister. She was here last year as a freshman, but Leanne Wong is now going to be gone. A lot of talent still there, but Sky is going into her sophomore year, really talented on the bars, pretty good on the beam. Gonna see if she can be more of an all-around competitor this year, take on a bigger role, maybe replace her sister. That's going to be tough shoes to fill. But she's somebody that, you know, the other names on the team, the Kayla DeCellos, the Anya Pilgrims, you know, they are stars for Florida gymnastics. Sky Blakely is one in the making and is going to be a big part of this team's future and the success that they have next year.
Totally. I love it. I do love all the familial ties that Florida has. I feel like there's not a single player on any team that doesn't have some sort of other connection, whether it's a sibling, whether it's a parent that's a coach, whether it's, even if it's not in the same sport, I just think Florida seems to have a lot of family ties. Your grandparents played, whatever it is.
School.
Yeah, exactly.
People want to be here.
Right. Another player that definitely wants to be here and is going to be a key part of this volleyball team this next upcoming year under new head coach, Alexis Stuckey. She suffered a knee injury, not this past season, but the year before, and then she returned in like late September of last season, and she was suffered from ACL, MCL, knee problems, serious knee issues. But she's really going to be one of the leaders on this team, and I think that she could receive national attention for how talented that she is. She's a fan favorite. I actually got to call. She came back against North Texas. I actually got to call that volleyball game, and I have never. I mean, the Odom they were so loud, and I'm really excited to see what she can do. But yeah, like I said, fan favorite, and I think she's going to be a player to watch this next year for Florida volleyball.
Yeah, she is Florida volleyball right now. I mean, yeah, she's an incredible player all around. Going over to the mound, Ricky Reith is a guy for Florida baseball that incoming transfer who needs to be good. And he is good, but he has to be good because right now the bullpen after the draft is non-existent. You have Liam Peterson and Aiden King. That is about it, right? As far as reliable guys go. He's got to be it. 5 years of experience, 3 at Notre Dame. Last year he pitched 48 innings, had 43 strikeouts. He's got to be the future of this team and a name that I think fans will quickly become familiar with. Yeah,
he's a strike thrower, and that is one of the biggest areas of Florida's pitching that needed help at times last year. I mean, you don't want to walk batters. You don't want to give people extra opportunities. Sometimes you just need a guy that can go out there and throw 95 right down the middle. And I think that that's something that Ricky brings to the table. So we'll see how much of a role he plays, but maybe he could serve as a Jake Clemente closer type of role. Whatever he does, he's going to be pitching, and so hopefully it works out with wherever Sully decides to put him. We're rounding out, though, with softball. Similarly to baseball, they needed help with pitching. I mean, their performance in the Women's College World Series, other than the fact that they couldn't get the bats going at all, was the last couple games that they played, Keegan, she could only do so much. She didn't play in that last game, and they needed help from the bullpen. I mean, Ava Brown was really the only pitcher that came in throughout the whole season consistently and played like full games. She could serve as a starter, but they needed help, and so in comes Allison Sparkman, transfer from Florida Gulf Coast University. She made 38 appearances during her sophomore campaign, started in 31 games. She led the Eagles in innings pitched, ERA, strikeouts, and a lot more categories that I'm not going to get into and list. But I think she's going to be a key and a really, really big asset for Florida softball as someone that can help Rothrock out.
Yeah, totally agree. And they're going to have an incredible year coming up. But we got one final game left on our season preview. It is the game. It is the only game that matters. Florida State. Find out why this is a new matchup compared to this past season, coming up on the Sports Lab, ESPN WRUF.
Iron Grill Studio, WRUF Gainesville, W251CG Gainesville, WRUF FM HD2, and on the WRUF radio app.
I like to travel, but then I do miss certain things when I leave home, like my bed, my Sleep Number bed. Why is Sleep Number Smart Bed so important to you? You can sleep the way you like. It's the only bed that lets you make each side of the bed firmer or softer, whichever you like. That's your Sleep Number setting, which mine is 75. So you can choose what's right for you and your partner whenever you want. 2 beds in one. And when you think about how much you sleep and how important it is, you're able to respond, you're able to react, you're well rested, you're ready to go to attack the day. Sleep right with the True Temperature bedding, designed to move heat and humidity away, cool at the touch of a button with the dual temp layer. It helps you sleep at a comfortable temperature as well that can be added to any bed, any side. So you stay sleeping comfortably all night long. Right now, save up to $800 on the select Sleep Number smart beds. Limited time, though, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you or sleepnumber.com/Patrick for details. If you played pickleball in regular sneakers, you know you can pay the price. They don't cut it. And Todd found this out the hard way. We have this great sponsor, Tyrell. They make the best pickleball shoes. So one day, Todd is playing pickleball, and he forgot his Tyrell pickleball shoes. Well, you know what happened? He got hurt. He was playing in some fancy, different shoes that aren't meant for pickleball, and he learned a lesson. Tyrell has everything you need to keep your feet cool. They're tough, they're lightweight, they're so solid on your feet, and you're going to wear and tear on the court, and they're ready to go. Every detail is built to help you play better. Tyrell pickleball shoes. If you want to play longer, feel better, and stop sliding around in those old sneakers, go to TyrellPickleball.com. You can look like a pro. You can play like a pro. It's Tyrell pickleball shoes. You spell it Tyrol. Tyrell pickleball shoes, the best pickleball shoes, purpose-built for pickleball. You ever go car shopping and just walk back to your old car and say, you know what? You're not so bad. Maybe a new paint job, maybe fix up those dents and dings. New car prices are going crazy now. Interest rates, prices, everything is up. Mako can make your current ride look like new. Paint touch-ups, dent repairs, fresh bumper. It's a little like a car makeover is what it is. At Mako, they make it easy. Come in for a free estimate, and their expert technicians will handle the rest. Quick turnaround, by the way. Real value. That's what Mako does. And we're keeping our cars longer. So make your current ride feel new again. Before you shell out for something new, make your old look new. With Mako's national reach and community focus, you're not just getting top-notch service. You're actually getting a partner you can trust. Go to Mako.com today. You'll find a shop near you and book an appointment. That's Mako, MAACO.com. And remember, better get Mako.
It's time to head inside the Sports Lab. From the CJC on the campus of the University of Florida, it's the next generation of Gator sports media personalities. With the latest stories, news, entertainment, and drip throughout the Sunshine State. Now, let's don a pair of goggles and fire up that Bunsen burner. It's time to head inside the Sports Lab. Here's Hannah Mack and Michael Tubbs.
Florida State preview. Last one of the summer. We've gotten through the schedule. But first off, Hannah, what is the bigger Florida game? Georgia or Florida State?
That's got to be... Oh, I don't know. I was going to say it's got to be Georgia. Like, easy. From a bigger game, like, that has meaning, it's Georgia. But from a rivalry standpoint, you cannot tell. I mean, Florida State it's the biggest rivalry that Florida has, I think. Yeah. Georgia has certainly grown over the past handful of years just because they've been so good. Florida wants to beat them. But, I mean, look at last year. Like, come on. I mean, Florida should have blew them out in the first quarter. And that game was a little bit closer than people would have liked. Yes, the Gators got it done. They figured it out. Even planted a flag in the middle of the field. But this is a rivalry that you can't beat it. I mean, I think it's one of the best, other than maybe Michigan, Ohio State. There's a handful.
Listen, we're in Gainesville.
I know.
Okay, there's 2 games that matter, but there's only one game that matters. There's only one rival game every year played in the Swamp or in Tallahassee, and it's not Georgia.
Nope, it sure isn't. Georgia doesn't even – I think that Florida State is a better game just because you get to go back and forth to the stadiums of the actual school. You don't have to go play at a neutral site in Jacksonville.
I think Georgia's scared of the swamp.
Oh my gosh, yes. Are you kidding me? I mean, hey, that record over the past couple of years might look a little bit different. I'm not saying that Georgia hasn't been the best team in the country a couple different years. Yes, there have been some games where Florida had no shot at winning that game. But hey, last year, if the Gators are in the swamp, I don't know, it might be a different story. But we're not talking about Georgia. We already talked about Georgia. We're talking about Florida State. Gus Malzahn was at Auburn for a very, very long time, then went to UCF, served as the head coach there. Now he's at Florida State, working as their offensive coordinator. Great mind. I think that was a good hire. No, he hasn't seen as much success across college football as he did 10 years ago at Auburn, or however many years, 7-8 years ago at Auburn. But I think that this could be a really, really interesting offense under his control.
Listen, any guy that goes 3-5 against Nick Saban is a guy that's got to worry you a little bit.
But he played Nick Saban in Alabama-Auburn, the Iron Bowl every year, which the rivalries, that's what we're talking about right here.
Yeah.
I know.
But he's getting wins.
I know.
That's
you're
not
right.
that's
you're
not
right.
an easy thing to
No,
do.
no.
I know it's a losing record.
Yeah.
But beating Nick Saban three times, go ask Kirby Smart how easy that is.
I was gonna say, how many other coaches can say that they've beat Nick Saban 3 times?
I was laughing. There's a clip of Brock Bowers. He was on a podcast, and getting sidetracked here with Georgia, but real quick. And he was talking about his time at Georgia, and he's like, they had only lost 2 games his entire time there. It was against Alabama both times. Like, he's just some of the greatest teams ever were those Georgia teams. Those defenses are insane. Nick Saban's on another level. But anyway, this is a guy that is a game changer, someone you have to truly look at and respect when he's on the other side. He runs that run-heavy offense, and this is the interesting part. Tommy Castellanos is coming from a situation where he went from over 1,000 rushing yards 2 years ago to under 200 last year. Bill O'Brien did not want him running, and that was to the detriment of him. And so now he's going to be in a system. There's no way he's not going to be able to run. So you're looking at an offense who has 4 new offensive linemen coming from the transfer portal, 3 new potential starting wide receivers from the portal. Deuce Robinson from USC, he's a big body, probably going to be their top option. Squirrel White is another guy transferred from Tennessee, talented wide receiver, but has an injury history, and Gavin Blackwell transferred from UNC. Across the board, their running back game is fairly similar, bringing back some talent, but this could be a mess of an offense as they try to get going. He's not a great thrower, gonna be a lot of running. Ron Roberts, load the box, and you might be good from there, to be honest.
Yeah, this is a situation where this is a quarterback that he's not as good as the SEC quarterbacks that Florida's going to be facing all year round. I mean, you have every single game on the schedule before you get to this game. So you will have seen Garrett Nussmeier. You will have seen Arch Manning. You will have seen all of the best quarterbacks in college football. So he should not be an issue. This is a game where, like you said, pressure him as much as humanly possible. Get him to throw the ball up. I think he will have one, if not more, interceptions in this game. I think Florida's secondary is going to have an absolute field day. They should be ready for it. But not to take away from the fact that him working with Gus Malzahn, we're talking about a guy that helped make Cam Newton what he was. He's good with dual threat quarterbacks. He is. So I would think that although at Boston College, like you said last year, he didn't run as much, I think that comes back a little bit this year. I think that they're going to try and make him a little bit more of a dual threat and not just focus on passing as much, because Florida State, they're going to need it. This is a year where they need as much talent as they possibly have, but overall, I think that Florida does have an advantage, not just from the depth of their roster compared to Florida State's roster, but because, almost probably over half of the starters for Florida State are transfers. They're all like senior transfers coming in. So the Gators, at least you have some consistency there with your defensive line, your offensive line. You've got Lagway, who's coming back for a second year. He's worked with a handful of the receivers that are in the wide receiver room. So I think Florida has the edge whenever it comes to experience with each other as a team.
Yeah, the defense for Florida State is, they're just looking to be more physical, all around better. I mean, it's hard to be worse than they were last year. Offensively, I think the best comparison I can throw at FSU would be on the Florida schedule would kind of be a lesser Texas A&M offense. Marcel Reed, they're dealing with some transfer receivers. They've got a heavy run game. Marcel's a guy who isn't the best thrower. I think whatever we see out of Texas A&M, if whatever works there, I would look to repeat it. And if there's some struggles there, I would look at that tape to work and prepare heading into that final game.
Yeah, I love it. All right, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think that Florida State is going to come into the swamp and want to plant a flag? If they end up getting the win, which I don't think that that's going to happen, Florida should win this game. However, you never know. Even if they don't win the game, do you think that there's going to be some serious animosity heading into this one? Because they're a little bitter about what happened last year.
3 things. 1, Florida State's not winning this game. Florida's going to take care of it at home. 2, Mike Norvell made a big fit out of that last year. So if they do pull off the win, they better not do it because he had a big fit after the game last year. And 3, when Florida wins, I think they should plant a Gator flag on our 50-yard line.
I mean, it's your own field, so you can't go wrong with that. But yeah, that would be really interesting because I just wouldn't want anything, not from an entertainment standpoint. Of course, it would be entertaining if an all-out brawl broke out into the middle of the field. But if Florida has any hopes of making a playoff, you don't want anybody getting suspended, anybody getting in trouble in the last game of the season, regardless of if they're making the playoff or if they're playing in a big bowl game. Either way, you want everybody on that team to be available. But yeah, any final hits? Okay, there we go. How big of a game is DJ Lagway going to have against Florida State? Do you think he plays the whole game, or do you think Florida blows him out early on, and then he's able to sit for some of the second half?
I think he's sitting a little bit in the second half because he's going to have some more games to play after this one. And this ain't just a bowl game.
Okay, but, I like it.
So you asked me about the flag planting, got me thinking. I don't know what I would rather have. I don't know if I would rather, if Florida State picked one victory celebration, I don't know if I'd rather have them plant their flag on the Gator head or have them dig up their field in that horrible tradition that they have, the turf cemetery thing. Yeah. I don't know what would be worse, to be honest. The digging up the turf really bothers me.
Hopefully we don't even have to cross that bridge because if Florida can get the job done, we will not have to go through that. But up next, we're going to have a little bit of rapid fire over under all the SEC teams. Who do we think is going to get that over and who do we think is going to get that under, as well as taking a look at some of the best Gator pros right now across the sports world. Right here on the Sports Lab, ESPN WRUF.
This is Hub Brown, Dean of the College of Journalism and Communications here at the University of Florida, and you are listening to ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM, WRUF, the home of the Florida Gators.
Celebrate your love this summer at International Diamond Center and get a free romantic getaway on us. It's the Summer of Romance event, now for a limited time at IDC. Make any jewelry purchase over $3,500 and pack your bags for a free trip. It's a great time to get that engagement ring and let IDC buy your honeymoon. Here's how it works. If you spend $3,500, IDC will give you a 3-day, 2-night hotel getaway with a $100 Visa card for spending. Choose from a dozen romantic cities. Or spend $5,000 on her jewelry and IDC will give you a 3- or 4-night luxury cruise for 2. Spend $10,000 and you'll get a 5-day, 4-night stay at an upscale tropical all-inclusive resort. Choose from 4 countries. Listen, if you're getting engaged, celebrating an anniversary, or just want to get away for some romance, IDC has it covered. You buy the ring, we'll give the getaway. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. Details and restrictions at shopidc.com. International Diamond Center at Celebration Point.
Hi, this is Dr. Art Mowry of Exceptional Dentistry. Listen to what our clients have to say about their experience at Exceptional Dentistry.
I'm a courier for Campus Credit Union, so I listen to the radio while I'm driving, and I had some missing teeth, and I kept putting it off, and then I kept hearing those commercials and hearing the people talk about how great everyone was here. So I made the move and called, and everything they said is true. There's one lady that talks about how wonderful everybody was, and she got implants and how easy they are to clean and take in and out. And there's one guy that says he's 70-something years old and he can eat anything he wants. And just good, positive stuff.
This is Dr. Kim Mowry, and if you think you have dental problems that are too big to overcome, we're here for you. Please visit us at exceptionaldentistry.com. That's exceptionaldentistry.com.
I'm Jordan Robinson, host of the new podcast, The Women's Hoop Show. Each episode, I'll be joined by a rotating group of women's basketball experts to talk WNBA, college hoops, the new Unrivaled League, and the shifting landscape of the sport. The game is growing, and so are we. Listen to and follow The Women's Hoop Show and Odyssey podcast, available now for free on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
On the air, online, on your smart speaker, and on the WRUF radio app. We are in on mode. You like that? Every minute of every hour of every day. It's going down. You are locked into ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM, WRUF, the home of the Florida Gators.
This is Kevin Cash of the Tampa Bay Rays, and you're listening to Gainesville's only home for Rays baseball. ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM WRUF, and online at WRUF.com.
The Sports Lab continues right here on ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM, WRUF, and anywhere in the world on the WRUF radio app. Here's Hannah Mack and Michael Tubbs.
Got some new news. About an hour ago, March Madness and the NCAA put out a statement that they will not be expanding the NCAA tournament field for the men's and women's basketball championships for this upcoming 2026 season to 72 or 76. Those discussions will continue in the future, though, for the 27 championship season. Like it, hate it, love it, not care?
Yeah, I don't feel that it needs to be expanded any more than 64. I feel like I love the 64. I think that it makes sense, and it goes 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2. Like, that's just the way that it works. I don't think that it needs to be changed at all. I understand that, who doesn't want more money? Who doesn't want to? And I'm sure that there might be some teams that are on that cusp that might say, oh, we want to get in. Send them to the NIT. It's okay.
What if I pitched you that if they expand it, what if they make a rule where the winner of the NIT tournament the next year gets an automatic bid? No?
No. I mean, just do better during your regular season than your conference tournament, and then you can get in. But I don't know. I think that, sorry about it. It's a good try. All right,
well, fair enough. Hurston Waldrop made his season debut in the MLB. Was reportedly supposed to make his debut last week, but ended up not doing it until this weekend against the Reds in the first Speedway Classic, which played at the Bristol Motor Speedway, first MLB game in Tennessee. He pitched 5 2/3 innings, gave up 3 hits, only 1 run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and got the win, which is a lot better than his previous debut, or his actual MLB Major League debut. Those were a rough few games for him. But Hannah, could you have asked for a better spot to do it in Bristol Motor Speedway, in front of a massive audience, first guy to get a win in Tennessee? Can you ask for much more?
No, I mean, that checks all of your boxes, right? There's only a few. I mean, we talked about the aircraft carrier, maybe some sort of football stadium. I don't see, you can't really play baseball in a football stadium. That might not exactly work. I don't know.
The A's and Raiders shared a stadium.
I guess, but I just don't think it doesn't look right. Like, I'd like the...
It's worse for football than it is the baseball.
Yeah, I agree. But anyway, so, yeah, no, that's a pretty dang good outing for him, and you can't really ask for much more. Hopefully this is foreshadowing for how he's going to do over the next few years in his career. Hopefully he can kick it off and keep going.
Yeah. Someone else who had a big weekend was Pete Alonso as he hit his 250th career home run on Saturday. Here's that call.
23rd pitch of the inning for Tang. And Pete drives one to deep left center. Forget that. Pete Alonso, 250. 3-run bomb, 3-0 New York.
I really like that call. It's a really good call. He's too shy of tying the Mets team home run record, only behind Darryl Strawberry. And if he gets 3, that record will be his. He's the 5th player in MLB history to reach 250 home runs within 7 seasons. We'll give you that same question. Where do you think he will rank on the all-time home run list?
It's a good question. What was how many did you say? 5 something? 550?
530. I went 560, then dropped it to like 530.
Let's be ambitious here, shall we? Let's do it. Let's go. Let's say he's pushing 600. Let's say he's pushing that 600 mark. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know how long his career is going to last. But if he keeps hitting the ball the way that he's hit the ball over the past few years, I think it's possible. I just don't. It's going to depend on the longevity of his career.
Fair enough. Baker Mayfield didn't practice last Friday due to a contusion on his throwing hand. That's never fun. This is not a long-term issue, and he is day-to-day, although you won't get to see him in preseason because Kyle Trask is set to start the first preseason game. What does he need to do to find playing time in the NFL?
I don't know, because this is the situation, is he's not going to start over Baker Mayfield as long as Baker is at Tampa. But Michael, I have to say this about Trask, and we didn't really mention it earlier. He has always been a backup in every team that he's played on. Not in high school, and then he came to Florida and he backed up Felipe Franks for a while, finally got that opportunity. So I guess it's just going to have to take, I don't want Baker Mayfield to get hurt at all, but if that ever did happen over the next couple years, then Trask is going to get that opportunity to come in. But for him to get a starting role somewhere, he's going to have to get starts anywhere. It doesn't really matter what team he's on, but he's going to have to serve as a starter somewhere. But I think he is always going to be ready to jump into that starting role. So at some point, I think that we'll see him get some starts, but I don't exactly know on where on a timeline that's going to be.
Well, he's playing on a 1-year deal. He'll be an unrestricted free agent after this season, so we'll see if he can secure his future in the league or if his time will come to an end in the NFL. Gator sports are officially back. Florida soccer beat FAU 1-0 in their exhibition game yesterday. Here's head coach Samantha Bowen talking about the team's preseason prep after the game.
But we've just looked back on this week and we've said how unbelievably productive we have been. This is by far the best first week of preseason we've had in our now 4 seasons at Florida, so that's really exciting.
The best first week of preseason in 4 years. Do they have what it takes to build? Does Coach Bowen, has she done enough to be able to build a program here? Is this working out? You're not feeling it? Is this like a lacrosse situation?
I think it's still a work in progress. I think that it's going to take a few more years before they get back into SEC contenders. They can, make a run in the NCAA tournament. I think it's going to take a few more years for them to get there, but you're talking about a program that's got a pretty solid history, maybe not in the past couple years, but with Becky Burleigh, they were really, really incredible. So the potential is there. The sky is the limit. I think that Coach Bowen, she's legit. I think she could do a really good job with this team, but we're just going to have to wait and see, Michael Tubbs.
Have to wait and see, but it's a good feeling knowing that the Gators are back.
Yeah.
Might not be the sport you love, but it's the sports we have, and we're not too far off from football. So right now, we are going to run through a quick SEC over-under on the season, all 16 teams. See where we fall. So, Hannah, over-under, Alabama, 9.5 wins.
First of all, 9.5 is crazy. I know this is supposed to be rapid fire, but you're telling me Alabama's going to win 10 games? No flipping way. I'm going to go under on that. I could see them at the 8-9 mark.
Fair enough.
All right, Michael, sending it to you. Arkansas, Sam Pittman, they're at 5.5. Over under 5.5 wins for the Razorbacks this year.
They're making a bowl game. They will be over 5.5.
Okay.
Jalen Green
You know what?
is a
I
good,
like it.
is
I
a good
like it.
quarterback, returning a lot of passing yards, underrated team, underrated offense. Although I did not like his answer about his position groups at SEC Media Day. Wasn't too sure on that. Not what you want to hear from a head coach. But Hannah, Auburn, Hugh Freeze, Jackson Arnold, 7.5 wins.
7.5 is tough. I'm going to take the under, but I think that they're going to be right there at 7. I could see it going over 2 to 8. I think that 7-8 range is going to be solid for Auburn this year. Hugh Freeze, I don't know if it's going to be enough for him to stay there, but Jackson Arnold, if he has a really, really good year, maybe they hit that over. But right now, I think I'm gonna take the under at around like 7.
Fair enough.
Yeah, all right. Back to you, Michael. Florida. Oh, yeah. Jumping right into the Gators. I lost track of our list, but yeah, Florida over under 7.5 wins.
Over. Not even going to go into it. I've made that pretty clear. Playoffs. Over. Oh, you got a tough one up here. Georgia, 9.5. The team that you have kind of hated on recently.
I mean, I can't reverse my psychology right now. I can't flip it, so I'm going to go under. I could see them 8-9 wins this year. Gunnar Stockton, I think he could end up being really good for their program, but I don't think that he's going to have a 10-win season this year. All right. Next, Kentucky. Oh, 4.5. That is what they are projected right now. 4.5 wins, over under.
Over, because I feel like you should be able to, if you're in the SEC, you should be able to at least stumble into 5 wins. So we're just going to throw the over on that and call it a day. LSU, 8.5.
This is a really, really tough one, and I think that's a great line. I'm going to go over. I think that they can beat Clemson week 1. If they don't beat Clemson week 1, they're going to have an uphill battle. But I'm going to take the over. I think that they sit at around 9, similarly to last year. I think they get one more than last season and could possibly make the playoff. I don't know if the 3-loss team will do it, but we'll see. 9, maybe 10 wins if Brian Kelly has a great year. All right. Mississippi State, 3.5 wins. Michael Tubbs, are you going to take the same logic as Kentucky?
No.
Oh
I'm going to take the under. Mississippi State is a tire fire right now. This is our SEC over-under rapid fire. Sending it back to you, Missouri, 7.5.
Missouri is tough. I'm going to take the over just because I think that they don't have the toughest schedule in the conference, so I'm going to sit right about 8 wins. All right, moving on. Oklahoma, 6.5 wins. This is a question mark of a team. Where do you think they sit at the end of the year?
This isn't based off the team. This is based off of a very tough schedule, arguably the toughest in the country. But all the hype we've heard around John Mateer, I'm going to say he gets him over that 6.5 mark. Give me 7 wins.
Okay, I like it.
Ole Miss, 8.5. You didn't like this one when we were going through it.
No, I was so angry at this line. I don't know. I thought that Florida and Ole Miss should have a pretty similar line. I thought that, I mean, they do, but I think that they should either be equal. I don't think Ole Miss should have anything more. I know they have a bit of an easier schedule. It's at 8.5. I'm going to go under. I think they could win 7-8 games this year. All right, South Carolina, 7.5. Lenora Sellers, what does he do?
He's got to hit the over. I think he's too good. I think he can put this team on his back, and this team will get through. The defense is young and in question, but they can get 8-9 wins, no problem. A team that I don't know if they can, Tennessee, 8.5, new quarterback.
Under. I am confidently saying under to that. I don't think that they win 9 games this year. I think that they, again, sit at the 7-8 range. I think that's a pretty... I think that's going to be a lot of the teams in the conference this year just because the schedules are really, really tough. All right. Texas A&M, 7.5.
I think this is a great line. I think this is a team setting on 7 to 8 wins, but I'm just not in love with what they got. Love their coach, not the team. Under 7.5. Last one for you, Texas, 9.5.
This is a really tough line, but you know what? I think that there is going to be a team with 10 wins in the SEC. I think that it could be Texas. Give me the over. All right, Vandy, rounding us out, Michael Tubbs. This is the last one we have. 4.5 wins for Vanderbilt. What do they do?
We'll give it the over. Diego Pavia is a good quarterback. He's looking for a national championship, and you can't do that under 4.5 wins, so we will take the over there. Up next, after the break, we will take a look at the best games in college football, week by week, the biggest matchups, where we want to be, and the best game in the schedule overall this season to be at. Find out next on the Sports Lab, 98.1 FM, 850 AM.
Cloaked in orange and blue and fortified on the campus of the University of Florida. You are listening to ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM, WRUF.
The wait is over. Miapa Latin Cafe is now open in the heart of Alachua. For over 13 years, Miapa has been serving up authentic Cuban flavor to the greater Alachua area. And now we're moving into a bigger, better space right across the street from our previous Alachua location. That means a bigger parking lot, more seating, and yes, a drive-thru for your cafecito fix on the go. We couldn't have done it without you. Miapa is deeply grateful to the community for years of support, love, and loyalty. This move is a celebration of you, our customers, neighbors, and friends. Miapa has been a part of Alachua County since 2003, and with 6 locations strong in Gainesville, Jonesville, and Alachua, we're proud to bring you the ultimate Cuban culinary experience. Miapa Latin Cafe. Authentic Cuban food, real community flavor.
Our Town Magazine and the Builders Association of North Central Florida invite you to the Our Town Home and Garden Show August 23rd and 24th at the Sports and Events Center at Celebration Point. Presented by Comfort Temp and Visit Gainesville, this year's show will feature over 150 vendors with exclusive deals you won't want to miss for all of your home, garden, patio, and renovation needs. Tickets are only $5 and children 10 and under are free. Check us out online at GainesvilleHomeandGarden.com. We'll see you there.
Make your garden come alive with Quality Green Specialists. Discover Quality Green's beautiful nursery with thousands of fruit trees, fruiting plants, flowers, herbs, and vegetables. Enjoy an explosion of color and see amazing results in your garden. Quality Green has the very best in organic-based, sustainable products to grow everything super productive, strong, and healthy. Quality Green Specialists, 335 West Michigan Avenue in DeLand. Conveniently open 9 to 4 daily. Online at qualitygreenspecialists.com.
I like to travel, but then I do miss certain things when I leave home, like my bed, my Sleep Number bed. Why a Sleep Number smart bed so important to you? You can sleep the way you like. It's the only bed that lets you make each side of the bed firmer or softer, whichever you like. That's your Sleep Number setting, which mine is 75. So you can choose what's right for you and your partner whenever you want. 2 beds in one. And when you think about how much you sleep and how important it is, you're able to respond, you're able to react, you're well rested, you're ready to go to attack the day. Sleep right with the True Temperature bedding, designed to move heat and humidity away, cool at the touch of a button with the dual temp layer. It helps you sleep at a comfortable temperature as well that can be added to any bed, any side. So you stay sleeping comfortably all night long. Right now, save up to $800 on the select Sleep Number smart beds. Limited time, though, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you or sleepnumber.com/Patrick for details.
From the UF Weather Center, here is your WRUF weather update.
Expect a few showers and thunderstorms this evening, then we'll have decreasing clouds overnight, lows near 75. Tuesday, we got a mix of sun and clouds with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Highs will reach 94 degrees. Tuesday evening, showers and thunderstorms are likely, lows near 74. From the WUFT Weather Center, I'm meteorologist William Maxim.
No radio access? Don't worry. We have you covered. Listen to Gators play-by-play anywhere in the world on the WRUF radio app. We are ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM, WRUF. More of the Sports Lab right here on ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM, WRUF, and anywhere in the world on the WRUF radio app. And Michael Tubbs.
Hey, just a reminder, we are live on YouTube. ESPN Gainesville, home of the Gators. Leave a comment, we will respond. We got some comments to address. I was looking in the wrong spot on YouTube. It was hiding over in the corner.
We're still learning too, okay?
Yeah, still newer. But running through these real quick, Justin had some comments, I think, when we were talking about the best passers in football earlier in the show. He said Jackson Arnold was also running for his life at OU. The offensive line was rough last season in the games I watched. Definitely a factor. I'm not sure. We'll see if Auburn is able to fix that. You know, Oklahoma's been rough after Lincoln Riley left. Julian Sane, the former Bama recruit, is at OSU with Jeremiah Smith. Could be a sneaky name to toss out there. That's definitely the case. Him and Ty Simpson at Alabama are guys with talented receivers, talented offensive lines, and definitely have the ability to be in those names, especially in 2-3 years from now. Christopher left some comments. I believe Florida will be the ultimate team of chaos this season, 2-3 deep at every position with a ton of talent. I love that and couldn't agree more. I love the team of chaos. I'm going to steal that from him. I'm just going to use it.
Christopher, we hope you're okay with that because we're going to put that on a shirt somewhere because that's true. I love that. That's a great way to describe how they are super deep at pretty much every single position that you can name, which not every team in the SEC can say that.
Yeah. He also said Georgia has to replace 4 starters on the offensive line, take a step back. Same with LSU, replacing 4 starters on the offensive line, but loaded at receiver. When has LSU not been loaded at receiver recently?
I was going to say, ever since some of the best receivers have come out of that program, that they're going to be year after year.
Yeah, but offensive line is so important, and you can't just walk into week 1 having not played together, so that's always rough. And he also said Ole Miss has a new quarterback and will struggle on defense. Defensively, they had a bunch of transfers last year, so a lot of those guys have left, so they definitely will see some changes. Austin Simmons, very short time that we saw him, but I know I've referenced this before. He had a drive in the Georgia game where I think he looked really good, and Lane Kiffin at quarterback whisperer over there alongside Lincoln Riley, I don't know how much of a transition they'll have, at least struggling at that spot.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I think that, no, he's not Jackson Dart, but at the same time, I think he's got enough of a skill set to where their offense isn't going to be insanely different. Again, really, really good wide receiver room. Ole Miss and LSU continue to have that year after year. But I agree that I don't think Ole Miss is going to be entirely the same team that they were last year. That's why I took the under, right?
Yeah, but hey, we love your comments. We want to read them, so make sure to keep those coming every time we are live on YouTube, ESPN Gainesville. That is our YouTube account. Go subscribe. But now, reset back to our schedule. Best college games that we would want to be at this year. There's a few weeks 1, 5, 7, and rivalry week that have a ton of loaded matchups. Hard to pick one game over another. Obviously, got to start off week 1. LSU at Clemson and Texas at Ohio State are game changers and could have championship implications. I'm going LSU at Clemson. I think that's a fun game. I think Clemson is a great home environment, and Brian Kelly's got to get a win. So that's the game I'm looking at there.
Yeah, no, I think that Clemson, like you said, great environment, but I'm going to take Texas-Ohio State. You took the Heisman battle. I'm taking the possible national championship matchup. I think there's more of a chance that these two teams meet in the national championship than LSU and Clemson. But both, you can't go wrong with picking either one of these games. I think Texas on the road at Ohio State, what a way. I know I took the over on their schedule. If they don't win this game, that could be a little bit different. But this is a great test for them week 1. I mean, year after year, they don't have the toughest schedule in the SEC. They're probably never going to be honest with you, just compared to Florida, Vandy, Oklahoma, those types of schedules. But going on the road to Ohio State, what a great environment to play in week 1. And that's going to be a great test. Arch Manning, I mean, talk about throwing him into the fire. You really can't ask for a crazier matchup than the reigning national champion week 1 on the road. Anyway, so week 1 is going to be a lot of fun. And like you said, implications, college football playoff implications. Whoever wins week 1 has a heck of a lot better of a chance to make it into a playoff, and it's even more important for the SEC teams to get wins in week 1 because they're not going to get in with three losses. We don't know if that's something the college football playoff is going to take into account.
Yeah, a 3-loss team is going to need help with a lot of other 3-loss, less 10-2 teams. But what matchups those are. And it doesn't change because going into week 5, Oregon at Penn State and Alabama at Georgia are the big 2. Alabama at Georgia, if it was Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, I would pick that one, and that's still going to be an incredible game. Kellen DeBoer has just won everywhere he's gone. but I want to go to a whiteout. And I think Oregon at Penn State is the whiteout game of the year. We'll see what Oregon, if they can bounce back after the season they had last year. But I don't know if there's a better environment in a single game than the whiteout.
I don't disagree with you. I think that it's definitely a top 3 across college football. And, I mean, you look at, they're playing Oregon, right? This is a matchup that you don't know. I mean, Penn State is a serious college football playoff contender. Not entirely sure about Oregon. As you said, it's going to be a little bit different of a year for them. But I think it goes back to these are conference games that you have to win. These are insane games, and if Oregon can go on the road and upset Penn State in a whiteout situation, that would be insanity. But I'm taking Alabama, Georgia through and through. I'm always probably gonna go for the SEC matchups. But I think the Alabama, Georgia is gonna be a really fun one, and Ty Simpson is gonna be on the road, and it's gonna be an interesting matchup with him and Gunnar Stockton, because both of these quarterbacks are coming into a pretty similar situation where neither one of them has served the whole season as a starter. They're coming into programs that Alabama, they have to win 9 games this year, I think. Maybe 10 if they can, but Kalen DeBoer, their expectations are up here, similar to Billy Napier in that sense. But it's Alabama. Your program needs to be good. But I think Christopher, he's thrown a comment in the chat. Notre Dame, Miami is also week 1. That's a matchup that we didn't exactly talk about. But that one, okay, let me ask you this. You got Notre Dame, Miami, and you've also got Alabama, Florida State week 1. Which one would you rather go to?
I wish they were flipped. It's Alabama at Florida State. Florida State's renovated their stadium. I think that could be a good game, but it is a double digit. I like Florida State with the points there to keep it close. If Miami was at Notre Dame, I would have a stronger thought about going to that game. But just being at Miami, I'm picking the Alabama-Florida State game just because Florida State at least has that home environment. Miami's not even at their home stadium. Like I said, though, if it was flipped, that would be a game I would take a second look at, going to see Notre Dame's campus, everything they have, the Gold Dome, the helmets in their stadium, I think would be a phenomenal experience, especially against a team like Miami.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna disagree with you. We're just going back and forth today. I'm gonna go Notre Dame, Miami. I think it's gonna be a lot closer of a game. Yeah. I think that Alabama, they should. Again, it's week 1. You don't know what's going to happen. They're in their home stadium. The crowd is really looking forward to this matchup. But I think Alabama should take care of business against Florida State. Notre Dame and Miami are a little bit more equally matched, I think. But again, a lot of great week 1 matchups. Let's jump in to week 7, okay? Florida, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Texas, a little Red River, Indiana at Oregon, South Carolina at LSU. Boy, these are all incredible games to pick from. Out of all of these, what are you taking? What do you think is going to be the best one?
South Carolina at LSU is very intriguing to me. I think that's a fun matchup, particularly this year with the teams they have. And I'm trying to think. It's either that or the Red River rivalry between Oklahoma and Texas. I'm going to take South Carolina LSU only because you get Oklahoma and Texas every year. They've had better Red River showdowns before. So I think you can go to that in the future if you want. But right now, South Carolina LSU, Garrett Nussmeier versus Sellers is you can't just get that in 5 years from now. So this year, that would be the game I'd have to go to in Death Valley.
I'll disagree with you again. I'm going Red River. I've always wanted to go watch that game in person. I think it would just be so electric. You can't really ask for anything better. And I want to see the quarterback competition of John Mateer and Arch Manning. Who knows what's going to – and again, similar situations. Neither one of them have established themselves in the SEC. Arch has been around in the conference a little bit longer to learn different teams a little bit more. But I think that it's going to be a great game. And, I mean, Oklahoma, again, that's one of those year after year. That's a rivalry where you never know what's going to happen. Yes, Texas should get it done for the next probably few years until Oklahoma can kind of jump back into what they were. The past couple of years, they haven't been a 9-10 win team. However, maybe this is the year. Maybe John Mateer gets it done. But speaking of rivalries, let's take a look at the last, just real quick before we head to break. What rivalry game do you want to see? And there's so many. I mean, Georgia Tech, right, after that incredible matchup last year. And it's at Georgia Tech this time. So you know that the Yellow Jackets, they're going to be there. They want that one.
I was going to make fun of you for throwing that in, but
that
was a great game last year. I can't do it.
Thank you. Texas A&M, Texas, Alabama, Auburn, Iron Bowl, Florida State, Florida, Clemson, South Carolina, and Ohio State, Michigan. What are you picking?
So Texas A&M, Texas is a fun rivalry. I'd love to go to that. Alabama, Auburn is definitely on my bucket list. Yep. Ohio State at Michigan, for sure a bucket list game that every college football fan should have. Florida State, I can tell you what game I will be at. But when we're talking this year, not the rivalry I want to see, but the matchup I want to see this year, because you can go see these every year. Clemson, South Carolina. I think that's the fun matchup. It's a competitive game. Again, Ohio State, Michigan has had better games, I think, than we'll get this year, and will continue to have incredible matchups. Arch Manning would be the only reason why we would feel need to go to Texas A&M this year. And same idea, Alabama, Auburn, I think in the future you'll get better matchups. So I got to go with the best matchup of the year in, year out rivalries.
Okay, I like it. I've always been like, I'm disagreeing with you, but, for this one, I agree. I think Clemson, South Carolina, this is going to be such a fun game. Clemson, they've kind of gotten an into the playoff just because they're likely going to make the ACC championship, but this could be a final game of the year where South Carolina gets it done, and that's that final push that they need, depending on how the rest of the year goes. However, Georgia Tech, I mean, come on. I know that's, no, it's not the best rivalry in college football, but I think that it could be another fun game to watch, especially with what happened last year. No, by any means, it's not better than the Iron Bowl. It's not better than Florida State. It's not better than Ohio State, Michigan. Not saying that, but I just think it could be an underrated. Talk about underrated players earlier. I think that could be an underrated matchup that could be really, really exciting, especially with the past year's history.
Yeah, funny enough, if you were to ask me what single game would I want to attend this year of every college football game, again, it's a one that I am fortunate enough and lucky enough to be able to go to. And it's not any of the games that we listed. It is Florida hosting Texas.
Yep, I knew it.
That
I knew
is
that's
the
what you were
game
going to
I've
say.
had circled ever since we found out it was going to be DJ versus Arch. That is the game I want to go to. I don't know if there's anything in my mind that is even close.
No, I totally agree with you. That's the one that I had in the back of my mind. I think some of these week one matchups, there's just the anticipation for this season. I think that those LSU, Clemson, Texas, Ohio State have the potential to be some of the best games of the year. But yeah, Florida, Texas, game day. We were looking at all the other week 4 matchups, and week 5 actually, because Florida's got a bye week after Miami. But I think that those are going to be absolutely insane. Not week 5. It's actually week 6. Yes, week 6. 4 games, bye week, week 6. Yeah, but Florida, Texas, it's going to be absolutely insane. But up next, we're going to take a look at a handful of different Florida teams. There's a lot of them. There's Florida men's basketball coming off a national championship. There's track and field, who they have a lot of national champions on their team, whether that's in a team setting over the past couple years or whether that's individually. Find out where we list our top 5 Florida athletic teams heading into the 2025-2026 seasons, right here on the Sports Lab, ESPN WRUF.
If it's happening with the Gator Nation, hear it here first. ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM, WRUF.
Hi, this is Dr. Art Mowry of Exceptional Dentistry. Listen to what our clients have to say about their experience at Exceptional Dentistry.
There's nobody else I would go to except for Dr. Art Mowry at Exceptional Dentistry. He did a full restoration, and I think I had about 8 implants put in, and it looks terrific. Dental work, let's face it, can be stressful, and it's just a lot less stressful here. That's my favorite thing, is that even if you're nervous and you come here, you're going to feel a little bit more relaxed here. A little bit more at ease. You've got TVs, you can pick your favorite show out, your favorite music if you want music, and it makes an hour go by in 15 minutes. Coming here is almost like going to a spa, not a dentistry.
This is Dr. Kim Mowry, and if you think you have dental problems that are too big to overcome, we're here for you. Please visit us at exceptionaldentistry.com. That's exceptionaldentistry.com.
Celebrate your love this summer at International Diamond Center and get a free romantic getaway on us. It's the Summer of Romance event, now for a limited time at IDC. Make any jewelry purchase over $3,500 and pack your bags for a free trip. It's a great time to get that engagement ring and let IDC buy your honeymoon. Here's how it works. If you spend $3,500, IDC will give you a 3-day, 2-night hotel getaway with a $100 Visa card for spending. Choose from a dozen romantic cities. Or spend $5,000 on her jewelry and IDC will give you a 3- or 4-night luxury cruise for 2. Spend $10,000 and you'll get a 5-day, 4-night stay at an upscale, tropical, all-inclusive resort. Choose from 4 countries. Listen, if you're getting engaged, celebrating an anniversary, or just want to get away for some romance, IDC has it covered. You buy the ring, we'll give the getaway. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. Details and restrictions at shopidc.com. International Diamond Center at Celebration Point.
Our Town Magazine and the Builders Association of North Central Florida invite you to the Our Town Home and Garden Show August 23rd and 24th at the Sports and Events Center at Celebration Point. Presented by Comfort Temp and Visit Gainesville, this year's show will feature over 150 vendors with exclusive deals you won't want to miss for all of your home, garden, patio, and renovation needs. Tickets are only $5 and children 10 and under are free. Check us out online at GainesvilleHomeandGarden.com. We'll see you there.
It's Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's 4-year anniversary, and you're invited to the celebration party on Monday, August 11th. It's time to celebrate and give back to a cause that matters a great deal to our community, the Ronald McDonald House. Join us Monday, August 11th for a night of limitless food, exceptionally fun times, and an anniversary party worthy of the playbooks. But hurry, this event will sell out. Tell them, Coach.
It's going to be a great night. Get your tickets at spurriers.com.
Unsportsmanlike with Evan, Canty, and Michelle. Weekday mornings at 6. Right here on ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM, WRUF. And on your phone with the WRUF radio app. The Sports Lab continues right here on ESPN 98.1 FM, 850 AM, WRUF. And anywhere in the world on the WRUF radio app. Here's Hannah Mack and Michael Tubbs.
Sports, Gator sports, are officially back. Soccer had an exhibition game this weekend, which means it is time to take a look at what sports we think will have the best 2025-2026 seasons. And so we're going to round it out with our top 3 teams. Each of them. Are we doing men's basketball number?
Listen.
Spoiler, if it is, basketball is the number 1. Are we including them in the top 5? Because coming off the Natty, looking to repeat.
Yeah. Let's just do our top 3. Men's basketball, put an asterisk on it and put it above everything.
Yeah.
That's just facts, okay? That is what it is, okay? All right. So top 3. My number 1 is going to be track and field, right? This is kind of a no-brainer, similar lines to swim and dive, but every year there are going to be national champions in individual events for Florida track and field. That's just what happens year after year. The women, they were the national runners-up in the indoor NCAA championships, and they were also the runner-up for the outdoor championships as well. The guys were 3rd in the indoor NCAA championships, and then they finished 8th in the outdoor. For this reason, I think that the women probably have a better shot at winning a national title this upcoming year. So they're a little slightly, it's like my 1A and 1B, right? But I think that both of these squads are, year after year, just incredible. Some of the best athletes in the world, Olympic athletes. What's your number 1, Michael Tubbs?
I'm looking at men's golf.
Okay.
I think that, they lost in the semis. I'd have them higher, but I think there was a gap between the national championship and them. So, but they're definitely going to make up room. Matthew Kress is going into his senior year, almost, his final season as a Gator. He's going to look to get it done. I made a joke earlier. I got to say this. J.C. Deacon, the head coach for the men's golf team, we saw was competing in the same event at some point, got a win in a tournament. And I would love to see, if it came down to a tiebreaker of, sending the coach out there to make, a putt or something like that. I think that'd be really funny.
That would be.
Just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not every day your coach can compete with all the players. Yeah. All right, my number 2, got to look at gymnastics, right? This is a team, lots of young talent. They got some experience last year, but heading into this upcoming season, yeah, they lost Leanne Wong, but there's so many different gymnasts on this squad that I think could be really, really, really good, receive national attention, and Florida might have the experience this year to finally. They've competed with LSU pretty much every year. Oklahoma is kind of the one team that they're just looking to take that next step on. Jenny Rowland from Oklahoma. She knows the program really, really well. So maybe they can get a national title, pull it off this year. I think it does happen over the next 3-4 years, though.
Yeah, I love this gymnastics team. Maybe get to them in a little bit, but softball is going to be my second team. Yeah. The talent on this team is incredible. They put up a stinker once they got to OKC this past year, but Ava Brown's back, Keegan Rothrock, Jocelyn Erickson, Taylor Shoemaker, brought in some good transfers to replace people like Kendra Falvey. They're going to be in a good spot for success this year, and I think they'll be able to get over the hump.
Yeah, I like it. All right, my last team that I'm going to talk about on my list is lacrosse. You can't not include a Final Four team in this list, right? Made it to the Final Four for the second year in a row. No, it wasn't. They played Northwestern 2 years ago in the Final Four, played North Carolina. It was a tough beatdown, but they should win another Big 12 tournament title. They've got some really talented freshmen. Clark Hamilton, Franny Hahn, who got all of their freshman experience last year, led the team in a lot of goals scored in a handful of games. So that attack is going to be the same. They didn't lose a whole lot of seniors, so I think that for that reason, Florida lacrosse, I could see them making it back to a third straight Final Four in this upcoming season. I know we've got a little bit of time before that season starts up, but you have to include lacrosse, right?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, they are so close there. For my number one team outside of basketball, I'm going gymnastics, only because that's I'm hoping we can sneak a championship while I'm still a student here. Selena Harris Miranda had an incredible season, transfer last year. Unbelievable all-around gymnast. Ellie Lazari still around. Ellie Lazari is not still around. She's gone, but Anya Pilgrim is an absolute stud. Kayla DiCello coming back from her injury. Sky Blakely, who I mentioned earlier in the show, some more incoming freshmen. I mean, this team has gotten so close. One of my favorite events that I've been to here was 2 years ago when they beat LSU in the O-Dome. A real awesome moment. And Jenny Rowland has done an incredible job. The staff is great. And I think I'm looking for them to get over the hump this year.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Kind of sad news, but not really sad news because we got happy news as well. We're done. This is our last show don't lose your minds yet. It's only 2 weeks. 2 weeks, August 18th. Everybody will be back in action for the Sports Lab, but we're taking a little bit of a hiatus. Michael, it's been so much fun getting to host this with you.
Such a good summer.
Oh, such a good summer. Lots of fun stuff to talk about. Kevin Winter and the entire Sports Lab crew back on August 18th to bring you everything in Gator sports right here. This was the Sports
Hitting
Lab.
CM Pong. Yeah, Cult of Personality.
Yeah, ESPN WRUF.
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill Studio, WRUF Gainesville, W251CG Gainesville, WRUF FM HD2, and on the WRUF radio app.
This is SportsCenter.